Every year there is a new theme in accordance with the changing demands and needs of the general public and the impact of the human interactions with the environment. The themes keeps on changing. The first theme was the most powerful theme, I believe, even today, which is the theme of only one earth. Only one earth. There is only 3 words. It has a lot of deep and intense meaning to it. As we all know, it's common sense that there is no other habitable planet that we know of. This is the only one earth that we have. Over a period of time, of course, the developmental needs has grown a lot. And then development was then as seen as an enemy for ecological conservation. Then there was a direct conflict between development and environment. It is at that point in time the world, international bodies has given a new concept of sustainable development. It is most easy to say sustainable development, but what it means and entails is a lot. What does the word sustainable mean? The world that we are enjoying today as it is the world that belongs to the future generations and not only to us. This very concept is at the core of sustainable development. What we do doesn't have an impact for today and tomorrow. It is going to have an impact for generations to come. So much so, our actions can result in irreversible changes. We can reach a point of no return. That is the kind of impact the tools of science and technology has given us. So, it is incumbent upon us to use the technology and development in a very sensitive manner and thereby bringing in the green thinking, green budgeting in every aspects across the projects what we emulate. If I may, there is one movie, I don't know whether you have watched it or not, there is a cartoon movie called Wall-E. Have anyone watched the movie Wall-E? Wall-E. It's a wonderful movie. If you have not watched it, I would suggest that you go, please watch that Wall-E movie. It looks that it is an exaggerated version of what's happening, but however it is not so far from reality. The kind of impact that humans create on their environment, and if we go to the point of no return, of course there is a process to it. The most commonly affected people will be the vulnerable sections, because if you see the climate change which is getting traction these days is going to affect the vulnerable population. The pattern of rainfall has changed. Excess rainfall happening within a very short period of time, cloud bursts, flash floods, artificial flooding. The urban sponge is lost. So is the case with glacier melting and rising ocean levels, warming sea temperatures. All these are going to affect the livelihoods and the lives of those who are vulnerable. So that is the kind of sensitivity which we have to formulate our policies. And from our level, from an individual perspective, you might think, such a big thing, what is my role in this? Every individual role is very much important. So much so, the concept of ending plastic pollution globally, which is the theme for this particular year, for the World Environment Day, is telling us about the usage of plastic. There are multiple policies. There is plastic waste management rules, solid waste management rules. Despite that, the availability, the ease, the convenience always takes precedence. So we can make a small change by not increasing the demand of the plastics. Of course, there are organizations, there is a further question, why to bring the plastics in the first place, stop it at the place of where it is generated. Of course, there are multiple actions which are being taken at that level also by the concerned authorities. But despite that, as long as there is demand, there will always be a black market and there will always be a porous entry of those behind the doors. So it should be both. The supply also should be cut at the same time, the demand also should come down. If only the supply is cut, if the demand is high, then there are extra legal or illegal ways of procuring. So it is both ways. It is not like pointing fingers. You first cut wherever it is getting manufactured. These manufacturing units are not big factories. They are small units and they do it. They can do it anywhere. That's the kind of technology which is available. They are doing it because they have a market for that. There is an economics behind that. So we have to both cut the supply as well as demand. We are on the demand side of it. It's an individual responsible citizen. The local bodies, the Gram Panchayats, the urban local bodies, they always promote sustainable alternatives. Previously it used to be the case. Carrying as much as a cloth bag to a shop is and was a part of our culture. These days, just going to the shop, knowing very well that you are going to buy something, and the shopkeeper either charges you 15 rupees for a cloth bag or gives you a plastic bag free of cost. So we have to understand and realize the impact of this on the environment. There has to be a concerted efforts. Yes, there are local bodies, and we are the first district, our Dakshina Kannada district is the first district where in all the rural local bodies, which are the Gram Panchayats, we have mapped those Gram Panchayats to 4 material recovery facilities wherein all the solid waste which are collected at the household level are scientifically processed and it is end-to-end traced. Previously there was no end-to-end traceability. There was some processing, there was some leakage. Now the household waste collection, which is Gram Panchayats are doing those household waste collection, and it is through a hub and spoke model coming to a material recovery facility where it is getting processed in terms of reuse, textile factories or asphalting the roads. So we have mapped all the 223 Gram Panchayats in our district, and we are the first district in the entire state for having provided this facility. And similarly, the other urban local bodies also are now in the process of constructing the material recovery facility, which are predominantly focusing on the plastic waste. So these are all initiatives, multiple initiatives of the government, and I am very happy to hear that NMPA has taken a lot of green initiatives, because it is incumbent upon every organization, even without any obligation, just by realizing that this is required, to go ahead and include the green thinking in our minds. I am very happy to see that we are all served water in glass rather than plastic bottles. More than anything, what the MC has told, because it's become so common. This requires a conscious effort from the organizers. So the principle pervades from top down. That is what is the impact when the information is so loud and clear. What is expected? Otherwise, if there are 5 bottles, what will happen to those bottles? It has to go somewhere. And we are in a very ecologically sensitive zone, as you know. We have lots and lots of rivers, streams, and whatever we are going to do, it will immediately reach the ocean and affect the marine pollution and create the microplastics, the thermocol, which are polystyrene, reaching the ocean. And we do love fishes. Fishes is a part of our staple diet in this part of this region. We hope that nothing is wrong, but hoping alone is not sufficient. If the marine ecosystem is affected, it affects the livelihood, life and the health, because this is a prime area. From here fish go everywhere, not only here for local consumption. That and the overall ecosystem will get damaged by rampant use of plastics. And also, of course, the carbon footprint, the entire unit of NMPA, I am very happy, is 100% solar is what I given to know. So now there is a overall general trend to shift towards less polluting solar energies, renewable energies. Most of the governmental buildings are now having solar as a part of their energy mix, I would say. Though not 100% solarized, many are tending towards that directions. There are multiple central as well as state government schemes which promote renewable energy use. And also, you spoke about the air quality monitoring. It's a very important thing, because if you put a number, it is very easy to visualize. Otherwise, we don't understand what is happening, to what extent it is happening. In many of the cities, the air quality has become such, it's very difficult to breathe. This statement might have been a fiction some 20 years ago. How can we reach a position where it will be difficult to breathe? Isn't it so? But we have reached there. And if we don't do anything about it, then of course it is going to degrade further. So the electric vehicles and all those interventions within NMPA and outside, these are all initiatives towards that direction. We should not think that it is an additional responsibility and burden, because there are routine core works in every organization. The concept of ecological conservation is always left to the forest department. They plant trees, they do the roadside plantation, they have some blocks, they raise nurseries and plant trees, and they protect the forest, and there is a department to do that. That is their core work. Other organizations have different priorities and different core works. No organization will tell you that you have to conserve the environment, but it is important that all the organizations imbibe the values of environmental conservation. So to that extent, I heartily congratulate the NMPA for having come. And about the individual's responsibility as citizens, planting trees is very important. Everybody knows that, and it is important to tell it again, because every time we should keep telling it, so that we don't forget. If you have a space in your house, you plant a tree, and you have to tell your kids and your relatives and spread the message, because we are also catching them young. We introduce eco clubs at the level of schools. We have activities planned for them. All the educational institutions have those eco clubs and they conduct regular activities. There are Taru Mitras and various other organizations. At the level of school, it is at that level they have to understand the concept of environmental conservation, which now is a part of the educational curriculum also. About the ecosystem services and the intangible benefits. We cannot put a tag to that. We can put a tag to a material, this is this much, this is this much. How can we put a tag to the benefits that the tree gives to the birds, to the other living organisms, the amount of oxygen and fresh air that is coming out of it? These are all intangible benefits. We call it the ecosystem services. So we have to understand and realize that our actions and our projects and our plans should keep the word sustainable in all our thought process. There has to be a thought process change. It's not going to come in a day or two. So with that, I would like to again thank Honorable Chairman Dr. Akkaraju sir and Deputy Chairman and all the others for having invited me here and gave me an opportunity to be here on the World Environment Day. Thank you very much. Thank you.